Okay, let's talk about private and public IP address. So the definition of the public IP address is visible to the public and also is routable. And the private IP addresses can be used on a private local area network. Basically, the main use of the private IP address is basically the system admin assign this private IP address to a device in the local area network LAN. And then this private IP address is not routable through the public internet. So for example, router receive a packet and it examine the IP header, and if the IP address in the IP header is a private IP address, the router basically drops that packet. So that means it's not routable. It's a private IP address and it requires a network address translation. So this is a range of the private IP address for the class A and class B and class C. Right? For the class A, the 10.000 through 10.255.255.255, that's for the class A. And for the class B, this is their range, 172.16 through 172.31, okay, and that dot 255.255. And for the class C, 192.168.00 through 192.168.255.255. So it's critically important for you to memorize this range. Okay, this is for the class A, class B, and class C. So this is a range. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. Okay, so I said first of all, the public IP address is visible to the public and is routable, and the private IP address can only use in the local area network and then requires a network address translation. Okay, so what that means is that let's say you have a local area network LAN. So this is a local area network, and then we have router. Okay, the router, and then we have internet. Right? So we have internet, so this is local area network. So in the local area network, there are many devices, right? So there's a switch, and then we have many different devices in the local area network. So each one of these device in the local area network, they can have a private IP address. So for the class C, we know the class C 192, the range for the private IP address is 192.168.00 all the way to 192.168.255.255, right? So that's the private IP address for the class C. So for example, I can assign, as a system admin, I can assign one of the private IP address to one of these devices. So let's say this device has 192.168. Let's say 0.1. So which is private IP address. And so, okay, and then let's say we have the router has the IP address of let's say in here the router has public IP address, which has to be outside of this outside of this range. So for example, 192. Let's say 165, which is less than 8. So obviously this is a public IP address. Let's say 1.1. This is a public IP address. So from the outside, right? From the outside, this is visible. So they think that this is like the IP address, for this local area network, right? So, and when this device wants to send a packet, right? And what it really requires is this, since this is a private IP address, is not routable, this IP address needs to be translated to this public IP address. So this is called network address translation. Okay, so we'll talk about this net later in detail, but at this point I really want to know the concept of network address translation. Since this private IP address is not routable, when this device needs to send a packet through the internet, this IP address needs to be translated to the public IP address. Then the packet can be sent through the internet. Okay, so that's mean by network address translation. So at this point, it's good enough for you to understand the concept, okay, not the detail. Okay, good. So, please make sure that you memorize this range of private IP address for the Class A, Class B, and Class C. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to end my lecture here.